presentations. Before I go, out of respect for sisters, the sisters sitting someplace, can they hear me? I don't know if anybody's here. I just don't want to leave them out, so to speak. So is that covered, inshallah? Yeah, I think the brother said that he's going to make sure. I just want to make sure that we have the sisters covered, inshallah. We'll get started. Um, I'll go ahead and get started. Just some opening comments while we all sort of get settled in. My name, brothers and sisters, is Ejaz Hussain. My title at the company is Executive Vice President, Sales and Director. But I've been affiliated with the company for 12 years. Prior to that, I've been in Islamic financing for almost 20 years, but in my title, I've been blessed to not only come out and do these presentations, answer your questions, which is a matter of great pride and joy for me, but also prior to that, I used to manage another company called Guidance Residential. I used to be vice president of Guidance. I left them 12 years ago to join University Islamic Financial, UIF, and alhamdulillah, it's been a wonderful journey. We're -- 1 ranked in the world, not just United States. And the reason is because of our people. Very caring, very loving. When people come to join work in UIF, I tell them, you're not joining a company. I don't know why that started. So our people make all the difference. My background, just very quickly, I started my career as an entrepreneur. When I first left college, I started a marketing company, a travel agency, a health insurance agency. I sold all of that. If you look from the bottom up, going from the bottom, then I went to go work on Wall Street. I worked with UBS Asset Management. It's a big Swiss investment bank. Then I ended up working with Morgan Stanley. Back in the dot-com bubble days, we were bringing a lot of companies out public. The dot-com bubble days remind me of today, kind of with the whole crypto craze and now the craze about the whole artificial intelligence, et cetera. So I like telling people, I feel like I've seen that movie before. But when the dot-com bubble burst, I felt I had enough. I got a call to join Islamic banking. I did not even know what Islamic banking was. I have to admit that to you. I knew, but I didn't know it was a big company doing this. So I joined Guidance, moved up from area manager, regional manager, vice president with Guidance. But philosophically, we were clashing because my vision for Islamic banking financing in this country is we cannot charge more, we want to charge less. So more people come and join the movement of Islamic financing. I believed in service, respect, and some of those things didn't work out, so I left 12 years ago. I was blessed to join UIF, and since then we've been building the company. We're now the #1 Islamic financing company in the US in terms of volume, but also in terms of ratings and so forth. In the world, we are ranked #1, and I'll show you a little bit about that. So we have a very proud heritage of the company that we've built over the last so many years. We are a private company, we're not a bank. Why that is important is because one of the questions I'm hoping to answer, inshallah, in the next few slides, is how we raise money and how the community has to get involved so we can do more and more Islamic financing in this country. But because we're not a bank, we're a private company, we cannot take anybody's money, but we have to raise the capital so we can still invest in auto financing, home financing, et cetera. We're operating in 29 states currently, so all the big states you can imagine where you think Muslims are in abundance, we are over there. So obviously Texas is one of them, but New York, Illinois, Ohio, California, some of the small states we're not there. The white boxes are the states we're not there. Don't worry about this information because on our website, before when you leave, Abdurrahman's card you should take, it has our website information and you can go see what states we serve, but we serve all the big states, alhamdulillah. This is a good opportunity. Before I go to the next slide, I want to introduce to you Abdurrahman Siddiqui, who's our district manager. He's been with us for almost 10 years now. I think I don't even want to guess how many years. So Abdurrahman is one of the top people in our company, incredible customer service. He's local to your community over here, and he's the one who helped arrange this presentation. We have another member of our team over here, Brother Umar Awan. He's also in our UIF team over here. Abdurrahman is the one who's, inshallah, been organizing this, and he'll be helping you also going forward. What is our mission? What is UIF goal? What is our mission? Every company has a mission. Every company has a goal. We started off with home financing, but we don't want to be a one-stop trick pony or one-trick pony, as they say. Our goal really is to be a one-stop shop for anybody, and I'm not going to say Muslims because there are some people who eventually want to reach other religious groups, whoever believe or want to avoid interest, riba in their life. So our goal is to be a one-stop shop for anyone who wants riba-free financing and investment options. 99% of our customer base right now are Muslims because it matters to Muslims. Avoiding riba matters to Muslims. There are other groups who approached us before, some Jewish groups and some Christian groups who asked us, and I keep talking to them, and they're thinking about starting something on their own. But bottom line, our customer base has been primarily Muslim, 99%. Also lately, there's been such a huge demand of Islamic financing. I've been doing a lot of presentations at universities. So just 2 weeks ago, I did a presentation for the graduating class of University of Colorado, seniors in the finance department. So 400 people, 400 kids graduating. They were completely surprised of the beauty, the benefits of Islamic financing, the differences and so forth. And it's a form of dawah, I feel like, being able to talk to non-Muslims about the benefits of Islamic financing, how we cannot borrow money, we cannot leverage the money. Every $1 with a bank, basically they can borrow $10 more from the Federal Reserve. Literally, they're creating money out of thin air. Back in 2008, 2009, for every $1 they had of depositor money, they were borrowing $40, highly leveraged, and the whole thing almost crumpled apart. And these things will happen again and again, because when you create money out of thin air, nothing backing it, it's a problem. And Islamic financing avoids all of that. We cannot borrow money. What money we raise, we can invest. And yes, it has to be small, but alhamdulillah, we avoid these big problems that can plague communities and countries for years to come. The one question I get everywhere I travel, the moment people find out what I do for a living, they'll always ask me, Brother Ijaz, is Islamic financing for real? What is the difference between conventional lending and Islamic financing? Everywhere I go, they ask this question, maybe in a different variation. So the question always is, what is the difference? What is the difference between how we do things and how the bank does things? So I always say, and I've simplified this, I said the difference really is two things. One is the process, and the other is the paperwork. Let me explain the process difference. And again, some of the things I'm going to tell you, it might make you a little squeamish. You might be like, oh man, I don't know. But understand but this is the truth. We have to deal with it. When we go to a regular bank, and we all deal with a bank, including myself, so I'm not passing judgment on anybody. When we work with a bank, when we open an account in a bank, we are basically lending money to the bank. When we lend the money, in America, you can give money two ways. You can gift money to somebody, or you can lend it to somebody. There's no other third option. So you're not gifting the money to the bank to say, keep the money. So you're basically, when you deposit the money at a bank, you are lending the money to the bank. Why you're lending? Because bank doesn't sit on that money. They take your money and they give it to their bank customers. Auto loans, car loans, et cetera, et cetera. So this thing we are trying to avoid as Muslims, avoid riba, in essence, we are perpetuating the same thing forward. Because every time you put money in the bank, you deposit, it becomes an on-demand deposit. Meaning, when you give money to the bank, at any time you go and you say, give the money back to me, they have to give the money back to you. Because it's an on-demand deposit. You keep the money there. We as Muslims use the bank as a service provider to get paychecks, to pay bills, etc. Our goal working with a bank, Allah knows best, Allah knows our intentions. Our goal is not to go to work with a bank to make interest. Our goal is to use it as a service provider, which Allah knows, so alhamdulillah. But at the end of the day, when we lend the money to the bank, they take that money, we become the creditor for the bank, we go back to them. When we ask for the money, they have to give it back. If they cannot, SVB happens, First Republic happens. You heard the cases literally a month or two ago. Regional banks, many people showed up to get the money. As soon as they heard the bank could be in trouble, banks had to file for bankruptcy. First Republic Bank, hundreds of billions in assets, overnight wiped out. People showed up and said, give me the money back. Banks don't have the money. They take your money, they've already lent it out for car loans, home loans, etc., to make money on that. So a bank model itself is flawed from a Sharia perspective because they're buying and selling money. Islamically speaking, we cannot buy and sell money because money is not a product, it's not a commodity. We are allowed to do business, tijarat. We're allowed to buy and sell a product and make profit, but we're not allowed to buy and sell money, and that's what banks are doing. So what is the process difference? Banks are buying and selling money. When we put a product together, Islamic financing. The scholars who help us design, and we deal with AOFI scholars. AOFI is the gold standard of Sharia boards. Their scholars are the ones who approve our program. UIF also is a member of the Sharia, of AOFI. The first thing scholars will ask us is, what are you buying and selling? We need to know the product. Because without a product, there is no Islamic financing. You cannot just buy and sell money. The only loan that is permissible in Islam is Qarde Hasana. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you a benefit, but you cannot give 10,000 to somebody and say, give me 11,000 back, because that 1,000 becomes riba. We cannot do that. So lending in Islam is a charitable act. We can give it to somebody to help in the form of charity, but we cannot charge anybody more money over the money, because trading of money, buying and selling of money is haram. You cannot do it. So banks are buying and selling money. Islamic financing is about buying and selling a product. Product can be a house, it can be a car, it can be a tractor, it can be a laptop, it can be a phone, it could be anything. As long as the product, you can buy a product, add a profit, sell it. Profit is halal. It's a buy and sell of a product, basically. So process in Islamic financing is based on some sort of a product exchange, and the profit is made of the buying and selling of a product. I jokingly asked our team, our sales team, a couple of weeks ago a question. I said, who is the biggest Islamic financing company in America? And I knew they wouldn't know the answer, because I myself heard about the answer recently. It's Apple. Apple has raised $50 billion under the Apple Pay program, because Apple doesn't want you to go get their Apple phones that are $1,000 on a credit card and pay interest to a credit card company. Apple has so much money, they want to become a fintech company. So Apple raised $50 billion. They don't call it murabaha, which is a cost plus profit sold over installments. Apple says, use the Apple Pay plan. You don't pay, you pay a fixed profit. There is no interest involved. So if the phone is $1,000, Apple will charge you $200 profit, $1,200 they'll sell you the phone, but you can pay in 3 years. Islamically, it's fine, because Apple is selling you a product, profit is agreed upon by both parties, and they can do that. So anyway, that's just a small example. But the process has to be right, paperwork has to be right. With a bank, it's a promissory note. Promissory note is a one-sided agreement. You promise to pay the $100,000 with the 5% interest, and you will sign at the bottom that I promise to do that. There are terms and conditions. With Islamic financing, you cannot use a promissory note. It's a loan-based paperwork. We have to use either the musharaka paperwork or the murabaha paperwork or the ijara paperwork or whatever the paperwork is. It has to explain what is the product, what is happening. So the process is different and the paperwork is different. Now, to summarize, what is the difference? Cannot buy and sell money, that's what banks do, but you can buy and sell products and services. You can do trade, you can do tijarat. This is how you can engage in a transaction. So what are the permissible Islamic transactions? The first one is the musharaka model, which is a partnership-based model. But specifically, it's a partnership of an asset, not a business. That's a different model. Musharaka in the partnership model, it's asset-based. Two parties are buying the asset together. The asset can be a house, it could be a tractor, it could be whatever. Then one party is using the asset. The other party has to benefit because they're partners with you. But how are they benefiting? They will be getting some sort of a utilization or a fee to use it, and eventually they can buy out, one partner will buy the other partner out. This is the musharaka partnership model. I'll get into it in more detail. This is what we use for home financing. And I'll talk on a different slide. Next model of financing is the murabaha, cost plus profit. So we do that, we do our auto financing in that method. We will buy the car is $10,000, you go find the car, we buy the car in cash for $10,000, we will then add our profit, $2,000, we'll sell you the car for $12,000, but you'll pay us over 5 years or whatever the time is. So cost plus profit, but you can pay as an installment payment. That's the Apple model I told you about, the murabaha. Ijara is the lease to own. Very typically when you get a lease, the car is not yours. You are driving somebody else's car, you're paying a fee to use the car. At the end of the lease term, you can give the car back, or you can pay a fixed price to buy the car. We've done many masjid financing on this Ijara model financing. We did over 100 million masjid financing contracts before. So masjid financing is done in this manner, where we basically will typically what we used to do is now we do musharaka for masjids also, but before we would create a trust. Trust would buy the property for the masjid, lease it back to the masjid over a period of time. At the end of the lease term, masjid would buy the property for $1 from the trust. So again, Everything revolves around the paperwork, how you structure it, but the product has to be there and product has to be changed. And last one is mudaraba. Mudaraba financing is business financing. Whenever we think of a partnership, our community thinks there's got to be sharing of profits and losses. Yes, there is profit loss sharing, but depends on the product and what is the intention. With the mudaraba venture financing, this is used to buy a gas station or a business or a building we are buying together as a business to as an investment property, etc. So this is mudaraba financing is based on the investment you make. Depending on what your investment is, your profits and losses are based on the investment you make in the property. I'm going to quickly talk about the partnership program, and then I will end with our investment question, and then I want to open for Q&A because I want to ask you and answer your questions, inshallah. So, how does the partnership program work? The first thing is our agreement. We agree to agree. We agree to agree. What does that mean? We have to agree to work with you. So, because if we don't think you meet our requirements, we cannot agree to partner with you. So the first step in the Musharaka partnership program is, before you go shopping for a house, before Brother Naeem Siddiqui over here takes you, show yourself, brother, show your hand up. The realtor in the community works with us very well. Any other realtors in the house? Okay. Oh, back over there. There's one realtor back over there. Okay, good. We like to introduce realtors because we love working with Muslim realtors because we want to support our community members. But before even a realtor takes you out for shopping, they need something called a pre-approval or a pre-qualification letter because they don't want to waste their time. Seller doesn't want to waste their time. So they say, hey, give us a letter showing how much of a home you can buy. That is where Abdul Rahman Siddiqui can help you. Abdul Rahman will talk to you, understand your situation. He's probably one of the most creative-minded people on how to put deals together, inshallah. So Abdul Rahman will help you put together an agreement, a pre-qualification letter. You take that letter, you go out shopping. Once you find a house and you come back, then we start the process of the financing. That time you have to give us your paperwork, your pay stub, your W-2, your tax return, etc. But at that time is when we come in and we do the closing of the house. So at that closing time, you bring your down payment to give to the seller. We will bring the rest of the money. So for example, this is an example. I'm going to use an example for $100,000 house. Let's say you're putting 10,000, UIF is putting 90,000. We're getting into partnership. Initially, your partnership is 10%. Our ownership is 90%. We're putting 90% of the house value. So we decide to buy the house. So you bring your 10%, we bring our 90%. Homeowner puts down payment of 10%. UIF contributes financing amount of 90%. We buy the house together. Over time, the ownership transfers. So here's the thought process, right? We own the house 90% in the beginning. You own the house 10%. And let's say the house has 10 rooms. You are using all the 9 rooms. UIF family doesn't move into the house with you. Your family is using all the 10 rooms. So you're paying us rent to utilize our share in the house, our 9 rooms. At the same time, within that monthly payment, you're also buying us at a time. So your monthly payment has 2 portions. It has the acquisition portion that you are paying towards the 90,000 to buy us out, and you're paying us the rent portion to use the 9 rooms that we own in the beginning for our profit. Over time, as you make monthly payments, both bucket values go down. You will buy out the 90,000 that we put in the house. You'll buy us out over the next, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. Similarly, the profit we've set, you will pay towards that too. So you will be buying us out. So it's a rent-to-own model. Ownership is transferring over a period of time. So I use the example of the house has 10 rooms. Customer in the beginning owns 1 room. UIF owns the 9 rooms. But customer makes a monthly payment. The rent is our profit. Your profit is the appreciation. So over time, we make money on the rent because we've agreed to you a fixed rent, what you will pay us over the buyout period. But the home value that goes up, that's your profit. So if the home goes from $10,000 to from $100,000 to $200,000 over the next 10 years, that is all of your profit. We don't share in the appreciation. Our profit is the fixed rent we agree with you upfront, basically. So it's a rent-to-own model. You can do this even with your own landlord. If you're living in a house right now, you're renting a house, you can go to your landlord and say, listen, I don't want to go to a bank and get a loan. How about we fix a price, what I'll be buying the house from you, but until I don't buy you out, I will keep paying you rent. It's a rent-to-own model. You can do that with your landlord. It's not complicated. Paperwork has to be done correctly. So ownership transfers over time, and over time, the customer will buy out UIF's share. What periods do we have? You can do a contract with us for 10 years, for 15 years, for 20 years, or 30 years. Each has a profit associated with that, and we quote the profit in percentage terms, so you can understand. If you call a bank and you say, how much is your 30-year program? If the bank tells you 6% 30-year program, and we are also using our rent to factor at 6%, your payments will be about the same. The difference is the paperwork, the process, but at the end of the day, you can choose the 10-year, 15-year, 20-year, 30-year period, and we will fix your monthly payment based on that period, and the rent is based on that as well. You make monthly payments, and over time, the customer becomes 100% owner. Very quick steps, people who are looking to buy a house for the first time. Pre-qualification, I said, that's what Abdurrahman can help you, inshallah, to get your home approved. Then you go find a home. So the realtor will take you around, Brother Naeem or whoever will take you around, show you a house. Once you find the house, offer is accepted, you call us back. We will, from the time you find the house to the time we can close, it takes about 30 days, if it's a clean file. Sometimes we've done even faster than that, but sometimes I usually say 30 days. We've done deals in 10, 12, 15 days, but 30 days is a good number. If it's complicated file with multiple investment properties that you own, this, that, it can take even 45 days, but in general, I like saying 30 days is a good number, basically. And then you finally have the closing at the end of the period. How can I work with UIF? We look for three things. We look for your income. Income has to be, brothers and sisters, what you can prove, not what you tell us. This is a common call we get. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Ajaz, I have a situation over here. I'm a self-employed person. I make $100,000, but I'm showing $10,000. How much home can I qualify for? Problem is, that's great, you saved a lot of money on taxes, even though you make 100,000, you're showing 10,000, but then I can only use the $10,000 to qualify you. So we have to be creative how we do these things. So income will be what you can prove. Now, if you work for a company, it's very easy. We know your salary, we know your whatever it is, we can figure that out very easily. It's the self-employed people that we have to figure out how to put the contract together. Credit cannot be bad. If you have had late payments, foreclosures, etc., we will not be able to help you if it's below 620. If it's above 620, we have programs to help you. If you don't have credit at all, we can help you as well. We have a program for people who've come to this country, never took a credit card, we have a program for that as well. So we again, Abdurrahman can help you and guide you and all of that. I'm just covering some of the basics over here. And the next is the down payment. Our minimum down payment is 3%. So as long as you have 3% down and you qualify for the low-income program, in the county, we can help you. But usually 5% down is also enough. So our down payment program is 5%, but for some people, we can go down to as low as 3% of the property. So if you're buying a home for $500,000, 5% is $25,000. You also have to keep some money aside for closing costs and stuff because there are other fees that you have to pay, appraisal, recording fees, title fees, etc. So you have to keep some money for that as well. But again, we'll cover all of that with you, one-on-one situation. But these are the three things we look for. Now, one question that our community will always ask us, brother, where do you get your money from? And we want to talk about that right up front because we're a very transparent organization. We want to educate the community of how Islamic financing, not only how we structure the program, how it works, but how do we raise the money? How do we get the community assisting here? So when this question is asked of me, where do you get your money? I first will say that we need to raise the money from the community. So I'll talk about that, how we raise the money and etc. But more importantly, I'll explain to you why that is not such an important question from a Sharia perspective. From a Sharia perspective, when you are buying and selling a product, you are responsible for your source of funds. The seller is responsible for their source of funds. Do you ever go to a car dealer when you buy a car and you ask the car dealer, where did you get the money to put the car on the lot? You don't. You go there, you buy the car, you leave. You walk into Walmart, you buy the product, you don't call the assistant, hey, Sherry, where did you get the money to put the diapers on the shelf at Walmart here because I'm buying those diapers now. I need to know your source of funds. You don't, because it's a buy-sell. Tomorrow when you sell your house, when you sell your car, you don't ask the buyer, where are they getting the money from? So when you are in a buy-sell transaction, we are responsible for our source of funds, you are for your source of funds. So, but having said that, how do we raise capital? How do we work, right? So we need to raise it. So how do we raise it? We have something called the UIF profit sharing account. So this is an account we ask a community to help because we have some investors who buy Islamic contracts, but they come secondary. Initially, we have to raise the money from the community. So our time deposit programs are very similar to, bank offers a CD program. We have a similar program. It's called a time deposit program. And this is done through, because we're not a bank, we have to have you open a bank account with University Bank. University Bank is not only a parent company of UIF, we're a private company. We have Muslim shareholders, and University Bank also owns part of University Islamic Financial. It's a community bank out of Michigan, 100-year-old bank. So you need to have an account, just like you cannot take your paycheck, or you cannot take money to give it to anybody individually. Only banks in this country can hold money. That's the law. So we have to have you open your account at University Bank. They are the ones who keep it. Now, the important thing is, once you open the account, it is in a FDIC insured account, so your principal is safe. Even if, God forbid, the bank goes out of business, your capital is safe. So there's no risk to capital because it's in an FDIC insured account. So that's where the money has to be. Where is the money invested? Unlike a bank that gives the money to anybody for haram purposes, every single dollar we get, we only work Islamic, every single dollar we get is put back for Muslims, home financing, auto financing, and so forth. So you're helping the community by helping the community avoid riba. So all the money is invested in Islamic halal programs. If you're interested, please talk to us. Minimum is $5,000. Rather than having a lot of money cash in your bank account, maybe let's say you have $20,000, $30,000, you only need $5,000, $10,000. Maybe take 10,000 of that or 5,000, invest with us. Principal is safe. You're investing in halal investment programs. You're getting about 4% return, a little bit more than 4% right now, because it depends on what we can make on the investments. Because we have to take your money, put it in house, put it in auto financing. So that returns we share with you. So that changes. It's variable depending on how much you can get. It's going to change. But at the end of the day, we ask you to invest with us so we can help the community as well. 5,000 minimum investment. Maximum we can do is $2 million per party. There are 3 terms: 1 year, 3 year, 5 year. Why there are terms with this 1, 3, 5? Because it's not you cannot give us the money and call us tomorrow and say, give me the money back right away, because we are using this money to invest in house financing and car financing. So do not give us money that you may need it right away, basically. Now, it is liquid. If you need the money 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, we can cash it for you, give it to you, because we have new capital coming in all the time, so we can give it to you. Penalty for that is you will lose that quarter's profit. So let's say you did a 1 year, first quarter you got your profit, but second quarter you need the money. You call us, we'll say fine, within 48 hours, we'll get the money back over to you. Problem is, you will lose that quarter's profits. That's the penalty you have, because that money is already invested in other programs. So that's why there's a term with that. Profits are paid out quarterly. And again, my appeal to you is please consider investing with us, because it helps our community. Again, it's in a bank account just like your bank accounts. It's safe, and you'll help community and make some income as well. Currently, the profit we're giving is 4.11%, because that's based on the returns we are generating from our community's products and programs and so forth. We offer multiple programs. For those of you who don't know, home financing, we do purchases, refinancing. So right now is not the best time to refinance because profit rates have gone up quite a bit. But if rates go down, Abdurrahman, somebody can help you, inshallah. We can, if you have a loan with a regular bank or with another Islamic financing company, we can bring you to UIF, and we can, inshallah, lower your monthly payment as well. We do masjid, commercial real estate financing. We do not do business financing currently. I talked about the profit sharing programs. We also have auto financing, just opened in Michigan. The demand, brothers and sisters, for auto financing is so huge. It is overwhelming. We raised $5 million for first round in Michigan. Just in Michigan, we finished that up. And the amount of calls we're getting from New York, from Texas, from Illinois. Just 2 days ago, we opened Ohio. Ohio is a very big community, and they've expressed a lot of need for auto financing, a lot of Somali community, et cetera. They need a lot of auto financing because they're Uber drivers, there's that. We opened up Ohio. Now we're opening Illinois next, and soon after will be Texas and New York. So we need to raise money, obviously, so your help is required so we can keep making Islamic financing a reality for everyone. We do a lot for the community, giving back for sponsorships, scholarships, seminars, etc. We do that all the time. Just register on our website so you'll be informed of presentations. I personally believe in giving back to the younger community. I read a lot of books. I read 1 to 2 books a month on average. So I try even doing book reviews of the best business books, best good books for our younger community so they can, best practices can be implemented, inshallah. So it's my way of personally giving back. And we, unlike other competitors, we have no LLC fees or junk fees. We're a very transparent company. We tell you everything up front. I'm here to answer your questions, alhamdulillah, and that's who we are. I talked about at the beginning, number one, 8 years in a row. Last 2 years, number one in the world. I was in Dubai last year on behalf of UIF. I received the award for the best Islamic real estate company in the world. Google stars, 5-star rated company. Almost every office that we have is 5-star rated. So service is very important to us. We track every person who has surveys are sent out. We want to make sure that, and our people know, our people who work for us know that giving good service is very important because their incentive plans are based on that as well. So that's important to us. So with that said, I'm going to stop over here. Abdurrahman is going to pass his cards while we do the Q&A. But Abdurrahman's information is here too. You can take a picture from here if you can see it and keep it, but he'll pass you a card as well. With that said, I'm going to stop right here. I covered a lot of information I know, but I want to leave time for the Q&A. What time is Isha, by the way, over here? I just want to make sure I'm on.
Openly.
Okay.
One basis we can do it.
Okay.
So we respect their.
No. Whatever you want, brother. It's fine.
Actually, we have some food available too, so I want to give them enough time to before the prayer start. But if anybody have any Q&A, please feel free. There's Mr. Umar here, Abdul Rahman here, Mr. Aziz here. They can be answer you. And if you have any general question, feel free to ask. They probably have some time available. But before we do this Q&A, I want to introduce some good people. They make it happen. Brother Raza Bekas, he make it happen for this education program. And I'm sure you guys know that who I am. Actually, I create a SARIA, South Asian Real Estate Association. That's a non-profit organization. My job is to educate realtor or home buyer. So just like this program we are doing, we're sponsoring. We have Brother Rashid here, Ansari. Brother Rashid, can you stand up, please? So whenever you're buying a house, always once you put the contract, once the name or any realtor, they find the house, name by one of the UIF top agent, right? And he's one of the top agent in Keller William too. So he's very good, doing very good job, and he's a SARIA board of director as well. And Brother Rashid Ansari, once you put contract in the house, his job is you need to hire him, make sure you need to hire him so he can do inspection, because builders, they do a lot of cut corners, even you buying a new house. So you're not specializing in the house buying thing. You don't know what's the problem behind the sheetrock or AC have a problem. What else you see the problem in the houses?
I was in an 11-month warranty today, and I noticed split shingles. I noticed extra humidity into the attic, and the mold was growing, and the HVAC was leaking.
11-month-old house.
And it was from a good builder in Fulshire. So I was actually coming from Fulshire.
So keep in mind, even you buying a new house is always problem. So he charged very minimum amount. I think it was $500, $600.
No, it start $299 up to 1,500 square feet and less than 10 years old. And it includes home inspection, termite inspection, thermal imaging, and so many more things.
Wonderful. Thank you, Brother Rashid, and thank you for driving all the way from Fulshire, Texas. And this gentleman is drive all the way from Chicago, right?
No, I didn't. I'm in the masjid. I cannot lie.
I know. I mean, they know that we are here.
I look tired, so you're thinking I'm driving now.
So anybody have any question for this gentleman? You are a realtor, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to do one-on-one with you, if you don't mind.
So just to clarify, we never all do individual, like personal situation questions anyways. We do that individually. But general questions, I'll take a few. And you just tell me, yeah. Also, right, when Ifsha starts, I've already prayed because I'm traveling from Chicago. I'm leaving 6 a.m. flight in the morning tomorrow. So I've already prayed my Isha. I'll leave right away. But Abdurrahman is going to be here. Umar's here. If you have any questions afterwards, they are the ones who can help also. I'll start with the question. Somebody had a question over here? General question? Yes, brother. Great question. Thank you for reminding me. I appreciate it. I talked about the front end. So front end, the 90,000 example I gave, 100,000, you put 10,000, 90,000. That 90,000 comes from our community. We raise that. But we cannot sit by giving somebody 90,000 for 30 years to collect that and rent back. We have to sell our contracts. So Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae are two government entities that buy loans from banks, but they have agreed to buy Islamic contracts from us as well. Because they're a government entity, we went to them and we convinced them, we said, listen, you already are buying loans from banks, and to help Americans provide home ownership, why don't you buy our contracts as well? So Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae buy Islamic contracts. You never deal with them. Only reason I'm telling you this is because you should know this. You'd only call us, you deal with us, no terms change, but once the contract is done, we sell this contract to Freddie Mac or Fannie Mae, depending on who wants to buy it, and then we get the money back immediately. So we take $90,000, sell it for $95,000, for example. 5,000 is our profit, 90,000 back in the pool to help somebody, and as you make monthly payments to us, over the 10 years, 15 years, 30 years, we keep sending payments over to them, collect from you, forward it to them. So that's what happens, brother. But thanks for reminding me on that question. Because it's very, very important. I've been traveling the world to find investors to invest Islamic contracts with us to raise money. Nobody's doing it. In America, the profit rates are very low. The Islamic banks overseas, they don't want to invest in America. They make 10, 12% over there. I've been there, I've been to Dubai, I've been to American companies, hedge funds, private equity funds. Nobody wants, because Islamic financing has some unique contracts. For example, how we handle if people cannot make payments on time. Late payment fee. We cannot charge late payment fee because late payment fee is haram. Once we fix a profit, we cannot make even $1 on that. So late payment, if people have, we have to still give people a late payment fee, because if we do not give every month, first of the month, payment is due. 15-day grace period. On the 16th, if you do not make a payment, $50 late payment fee. We charge that because if we don't have that, then our community will not respect paying on time, and it's very difficult to run a business when you're depending on things have to be paid. So we have a penalty. Not many people get delayed, but some who do, we donate that money to charities, Islamic charities. We don't take that money. We also have some unique contracts about how, even if you have other homes, and if we cannot make payments and we decide to end the partnership with you, banks can come after you for your other assets, your other loans. We cannot. We have to take the loss on that property. So these are some unique features about an Islamic financing contract that other banks, other people don't want it. So we have to raise capital, but then Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, because they're government entities, they are the ones who are buying our contracts. And one person asked me last time, yeah, but isn't the Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae haram? They are government money. I'm like, probably they're printing money out of thin air, but if that's haram, then your Medicare is haram, your Social Security is going to be haram, so how far of a hole do you want to go down basically on this, right? So again, for us, it's a buy-sell. We are selling our equity share right away. At some point in time, you will sell your equity share. When you sell your house down the road, 5 years, 10 years later, you will sell it then. We are selling it upfront immediately so we can get the money back so we can help other community members. It's a very good question. Thanks for reminding me. Yes, brother, go ahead. Yes. I'll repeat the question, brother.
Don't worry.
Has that been resolved already?
He's good on the microphone.
I think you got the question right.
I'll repeat the question.
Repeat the question again.
Amja is the question, right? I got it. So, brother has a very good question. I talked about how we have a Sharia board, AOFI, which is a gold standard. There is a local organization called Amja. Amja did a Islamic financing, and it's constituted of scholars in the US. They reviewed at that time, we only had the Murabaha program. So that time we didn't have the Musharaka program. So they never really looked at our Musharaka program. I'm sorry, okay, that's fine. The Murabaha program, they had some issues with us. They said it's fine, but their Amja's issue was, and I was there at that Amja conference because I was the one presenting. I was the one presenting at the Amja conference with the scholars, and we had our other scholars from overseas joining the call. Amja's issue on the Murabaha program, not on the partnership program, on the Murabaha, cost plus, their issue was, well, UIF is just buying the property and selling it, but their intention is never to own the property. That was their issue. I explained and I said, the issue is this: when a vendor buys vegetables and fruits from the farmer and he's selling it, his intention is not to eat the fruit and that himself. He's also buying to sell it. So I said, Islam doesn't say anywhere whether you have to own the property for 1 minute or 1 hour or 1 week or whatever it is. Brother, but I'll be honest with you, we are personally frustrated because sometimes there are politics involved in these things. Some companies are given a little bit better hand for whatever reason. I'm not going to extrapolate on that. We have been trying to get a proper endorsement, proper approvals. It's just being delayed. Yeah, inshallah, we'll look, we'll see, we'll do this. The head of their Amja organization, one of the main scholars, is also doing webinar seminars for one of our competitors, basically. So that to me becomes a problem, because if you are going to do that for somebody, then I'm sorry, the independence is a concern I have. We have independent scholars, and the scholars who are on our Sharia board, we pay them. I tell you we pay them, just like we pay accountants, we pay attorneys, but they help us design the paperwork, they do audits for us, so we are very transparent. So that is a concern. I wish we had it a very clear cut on that, but the Buraba, they had a problem. Busharaka, they have not reviewed yet. They keep saying they'll review, but it's approved, alhamdulillah, and we're moving forward because we have approvals from all the top organizations and some of the biggest scholars, and so we're comfortable with what we have. Yes, brother.
I have a quick question. I'm just trying to figure it out what the difference is. You say you give me a loan, I own 1 room, you own the 9 rooms. But you turn around and send that to Freddie Mac, that loan. You're no longer the owner of my 9 homes. The government is the owner of it. You're just a servicing company servicing that loan. So from Islamic perspective, if I went to the, Chase Bank, Wells Fargo, they do exactly the same thing. The minute I turn around, they sell it to Freddie Mac, whatever. So from that aspect of it, you're just a loan service. You really cannot honor that contract, because whether I buy back your down, I'm paying that money. It's going to the government. It's not going to you. And our contract is totally different. So how did it become Muslim? Only the difference between you and him, you claim you're a Muslim guy, and they claim they're not Christian and they're transparent.
They,
The forms I fill out, you look at the hard forms, they're exactly the same form I fill out with you. They have the same right to resell that loan that you asked me to sign it when I was signing it.
were you, it's a very fair question you're asking. I'll answer the questions for you. Were you here from the beginning of the presentation when I started?
Yes, I was here.
Okay, so when I explained the process and the paperwork part, I said, when you go work with a bank, it's purely a money buying and selling transaction. Because of the way banks do, they're buying and selling money because they will never get into a partnership with you. Banks will never get into a partnership with you for a risk.
Selling my partnership, if you were keeping my partnership, I would agree with you. But you turning around and selling that
But
partnership
selling,
to Freddie Mac.
but selling doesn't make the program.
But it changes because right now you're
Can I, let me,
9 rooms. If I buy from the bank and I buy from you,
no, I understand your question. Let me finish the,
Freddie Mac, so it's different Freddie Mac that you sell it to, or
Okay.
the bank sells to different Freddie Mac?
okay, now I understand your question. Let me answer. I'm not here to debate. At the end of the,
I just want to clarify that
Right.
when Freddie Mac buys something from you or from the bank, is there a difference?
there is a difference because if I'm selling halal zabiya chicken, it doesn't matter if a Christian comes and buys or Jews comes and buy. My meat doesn't become haram or halal because a Christian buys it or a Jew buys it or somebody working at a casino buys it. My meat is the halal meat I'm selling, doesn't matter. I'm selling a halal product. I'm selling a piece of my house. I'm selling my share of the house to somebody. We cannot tell you that you cannot sell your house. You get into contract with us, 1 month later, you go and sell the house to somebody. We cannot tell you, don't sell the house. It's your right to sell the house. You'll pay us 1 month of profit. If we are agreeing to sell our equity share to Freddie Mac, to Islamic Bank of Kuwait, to Indonesian Islamic Bank, that is between us and them and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For you, your contract is not changing. You got into an equity contract, a partnership contract with us, you will make payments to us. What are we selling?
Difference between, for the same thing, is there a difference from the conventional bank to your bank?
Yes.
When it comes to that, in selling it, if let's say they sell my
Brother,
loan to
but the buying and selling, you're focusing on the wrong part. You're focusing on the selling part. Selling our share. Okay,
you're no longer the contract anymore.
no. But let me ask this question. Let's say forget about Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae. You and I buy a property together. Forget about Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae.
I will agree with you, but the way the system
No.
works in America, government has set up and selling that loan to them. Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, I
No.
just want to make it clear that
I appreciate that.
it's the same thing whether it comes from Islamic bank or it comes from conventional bank. That process is exactly equal.
That
I'm saying it's not.
selling.
And is the process exactly the same or different?
But this is about my 1500 presentation. So I've always do these presentations. I'm not. Trust me, brothers have good.
I made my point. You can go ahead.
No.
I'm not
It's
making an
no. And I appreciate that. Like I said, this is something that I've done for the living for the last 20 some years. I've met with regulators. I've met with Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae people. I've met with Muslim investors. So to me, I just try to focus on the part that is important, which is buying and selling doesn't make the program halal or haram. Yesterday, some person asked me at the presentation we were doing at Bear Creek Masjid about, well, the only difference between you, I'm UIF customer, the only difference between you and the conventional loan is the paperwork you're signing. That's the only difference. I said, yes, I got married, I signed the kitab, nikah, you call it nikah. That is the only difference between me not getting married and I'd have the same woman, same children, everything will be haram if I don't follow that one little step. So following that one little step makes a difference. Taking ownership in the property makes a difference. When we sell, who to sell, has no bearing whether the program is halal or haram. That's my only point, and we'll leave it at that. We can be happy to take more.
Yeah, let's get together. We have a dinner ready. I just want to introduce some realtor again one more time. Had a one-on-one question, if you don't mind. Because it's a time for pray. Okay.
You guys are very smart, he's very smart, he's in the finance industry too. What I'm saying, the question he's asking is every single person fine. So if you're gonna have one-on-one, I don't think it's gonna serve you a good purpose for your company, because the same question he has is in everybody's mind.
And
So I just wanted to add that to it.
I'm happy to answer the question as long as you want. So as I've answered over here, and I know brother has to go for tea. No, but again what I'm saying, brother, is at the end of the day, what are you selling? If I'm doing a regular loan, whether I sell the regular loan to a Muslim or a non-Muslim, it's haram because the product itself is haram. If I work for a regular loan, regular bank company, if my product is a loan product, if the product is haram, whether I sell to a Muslim or non-Muslim, it is haram regardless. But if the product is halal, which is we are selling our share in the property, that share can be sold to a Muslim or a non-Muslim. So selling it to Freddie Mac or Bank of Kuwait has no bearing on it. We are selling our share right away because we need liquidity. Otherwise, we cannot finance other people's homes. You,
But if
as
the
a
bank is
customer,
doing the same thing, what makes that haram?
because it's a loan.
Brother, let's do this thing. You know, brother, please. Let's do this thing. We really do not have a time. You know, there is the Isha's coming. Plus, okay, those people want to go eat, please go for eat. And I just want to introduce you to, I just find out we have 3 realtor in a room, and I want to introduce them. Brother Zahir, can you stand up, please? Brother Zahir is the one of the realtor. Brother Naeem is the one of the realtor. Brother Mafu, can you stand up, please? So we have 3 realtor. If you guys looking at some houses to buy, please contact them. And those people want to go eat, please go for eat. And Brother Rajaz, mic for you.
Yeah, absolutely. No, listen, the reason I'm here, I'm giving up my evenings, weekends with the family, and I do that half the year. I'm out traveling to different masajid all over. I was in Austin last week, California. We are not hiding anything. The reason I come out here and talk to you is to be transparent, so we can explain. The logic of the question is, yes, both parties are selling to Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae. I'm agreeing with you on that, okay? What I'm disagreeing with you on is what is being sold. If I'm selling a share in my property that I own to somebody, the product is halal because it's a piece of equity I'm selling. Banks never take ownership on the property. Banks only give you a loan and they charge interest. So bank is selling their paper. It's just a paper they're selling. There's no ownership on the house. So when you sell just a loan paperwork, the product is haram. It's not that we have an issue with who they're selling to. They can sell to Freddie Mac, anybody want. But when they're selling loan, it becomes haram because the product is haram, basically. With us, it's equity. If you and I buy a property together, and $100,000 property, you put 50, I put 50, we buy it together, we are getting rent on it, I want to sell my share because I need the money, you cannot buy me out. I can sell my share to another brother, and he will come in and become your partner, but you tell me, I don't want to deal with this guy, you need to collect money from him and give it to me. I'll do that. This is a relationship we have. So I'm just selling my share of the house that you and I own to a third party. But because I'm selling my own house share, it's fine. So well, if that's what you feel. Again, if you want to keep saying the same thing, then that's fine. We'll
Same thing. I'm just calling a duck when I see a duck. In this case, you bought the home, you explained to me the reason it's halal, because I'm in partnership with you. I own 9 homes. You pay down the amount as time goes on. If it appreciates it, you get to keep, but you keep paying me rent, and we agreed on that. That is a partnership, you say, but if you turn around and dissolve the partnership, I'm no longer in partnership with you.
No, brother, selling equity, selling our equity share is not dissolving the partnership. We are telling you upfront.
But you and I have no, and now I have to, the money I give it to you, if you're honest,
You make it to us.
No, you're the service company for Freddie Mac.
No, no.
But who gets the money?
We are
You
not a
keep-
service company.
you
See,
keep
your
that money.
facts are wrong.
But do you keep that money, the rent I pay? If you sell the contract, you also keep the contract.
So, brother, is your solution everybody here should go get a haram loan? Is that what you're trying to tell everybody?
Not solution, I'm just clarifying. You
No, no,
said you wanna be
I've
transparent.
clarified with you.
You said you wanna be transparent.
I have clarified with you. I have clarified with you. But if you keep arguing and saying it's the same thing, then I don't know what more to say to you.
No, you're saying that you own the house, you sell it to Freddie Mac, you become a service company for the Freddie
I did not say that. You said that. I said we're not a servicing company.
Mac. But if you're not,
We are not a bank.
how do you, who gets my rent then? You tell me.
You pay us.
But do you keep the money?
No, because we've sold the share. So once we,
We're playing with words now. I keep the money. If it's not yours, you're a service company at the end of the day.
See,
I am paying whoever owns the house.
is it possible? Is it possible?
Let me ask one more
Is
question. If I didn't pay, would Freddie Mac foreclose my home?
No, they won't. Because we have to be involved. So what ends up happening is we've never had one foreclosure in our life.
Happens, let's say I lose my job or drastic happens.
If you ask a question, then you have to let me finish the answer. If you don't want to let me finish the answer, then you tell me to please shut it all down and you can believe whatever you want. So we have to agree to some rules up here. Okay, so if you're asking the question, then allow me to answer. Because if I answer and you keep talking on top of that, it's not helping.
You keep repeating the same talking
No.
points. I'm just asking you.
No, it's a new question you asked.
If could that home be foreclosed for any reason? That's my question.
Yes, it can be. And then it's haram. Okay, okay. Thank you very much. Anyways, we have done 5 billion in home financing, alhamdulillah, for the community. We are bringing auto financing programs. Everybody has to make a decision for themselves. I'm not answering for you. You will never answer for me day of judgment. If you are comfortable with the program I explained, call us. If you want to go with a bank and get a regular loan, call the bank. I'm not going to be answering for you day of judgment. You're not answering for me. So no sense standing over here going back and forth. We've spent millions putting this program together, working with different. If you do not have a solution, it's easy to throw stones at people and say, you're doing this wrong, you're doing this wrong. But when we are in the front lines, trying to raise the money, trying to work with regulators, with investors, a program, I think as Muslims, we should appreciate it because community has come a long way. Yes, you can always point fingers and say, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, but then present a solution. If not, our community will always be going into riba, and that's not good for all of us. Jazakallah khair, thank you so much. I'm leaving to Chicago tomorrow. I already prayed my Isha prayer. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Hopefully I did something for you, inshallah, positive. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Take care.
Jazakallah.